We have Mr. Juan Villasmil, commentator for Young Voices. Always good to have him on the show. Hopefully this one will go better than last time. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, man. A lot has changed since the last time we spoke. The ground has moved from under the feet of MAGA. Donald Trump is feeling the pressure, obviously. J.D. Vance, I thought, was a horrible pick, so does many MAGA fans. And now you have VP Harris, presidential candidate. You have Governor Walz, who is a firebrand in his own right. Definitely popular with progressives. What say you?
I think I agree that he's definitely popular with progressives. He is, in some ways, a solid choice strategically, and I think Republicans should worry. Picking him in a way, someone that's like unknown for most of the American population, 70% or even more, the American public doesn't know who this guy is. So the media can create an image of him that looks and sounds moderate, and he already looks quite moderate. He's just like a white old guy like Joe Biden, so he serves a similar role. But at the same time, the Trump campaign might take his selection in their advantage and hyper-focus on the far left attack, because Tim Walz is very left-wing in comparison to Josh Shapiro and some of the other people that were being floated around.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Her pick was not as political as I assumed it would be. I thought she was going with a more political pick. Governor Walz definitely is the guy who progressives wanted. I wanted him. Just didn't think he was going to get it. But let's talk about his the fact he has very low name recognition nationally. That's not a bad thing in this current era of politics, dear brother, as you know, because that means that his known negatives are very low as well. Because once you get known, your negatives simply go high. Trump has high negatives. Kamala Harris has high negatives. The Clintons got high negatives. We've known them forever. That's why they got high negatives. So these high negatives are attributable to what? To the fact that people know them. They don't know this guy. And then here's the other dynamic. And you can't deny this, dear brother. Even if you disagree with his political stance, his policy, et cetera, you like him. He seems to be a guy that you like. He says things that are funny but still light. He doesn't seem mean-spirited when he drops a joke.
It's a little hard though, because he's likable, but the front of the ticket is not very likable. Kamala is not, my cup of tea, the cup of tea of many Americans.
Well, let's go ahead and read the polling data. So obviously she's not your cup of tea. You're supporting the conservative candidate. In a recent poll, national head-to-head polls, you got Survey USA. Harris is up 3 points ahead of Trump, 48 to 45%. Morning Consult puts up 4 points, 44 to 48% her way. You got YouGov and CBS News had her up 1 point. University of Massachusetts, Amherst put Harris at 46, 43. So she's actually leading, and she has been steadily trending leading even before she picked Governor Walz. Yeah. So once someone submits to me that, well, people don't like Harris, well, these polls are people responding to them, and you all like polls until they contradict.
No, I'm actually not a lover of polls. I think there's more to our politics, more than national level polls. There's trends that we can't ignore, and we can't ignore the Kamala momentum. That Kamala was elected, and now she's this majestic figure that everyone loved. She's the next Obama, better than Obama even. Look at her laugh. Like, I don't know, a month ago, everyone in politics was like, oh, her cackle's kind of annoying. And now everyone's like, oh my God, she's bringing joy back to our politics.
You know what is different? What is different, Juan, and I've interviewed VP Harris multiple times, and I've said this on record. I said she seems measured. She seems like she went to some default answers that were not her own. And now we see a very different VP Harris. As a matter of fact, on the day that Biden made the decision, I went on record and said, I hope she's not measured like she has been in the past, because you need authenticity right now. You need people who are willing to embrace their character and personality.
God, don't come with the authenticity.
So listen to me, dear brother. Listen to me. There is a difference in the delivery. You may think
there is
that she is not a favorite. Well, what you're really saying is that Trump is so horrible that even a person who did not go through a traditional primary process is able to be more popular than him. He's a terrible flawed candidate.
Let's talk about authenticity.
Okay, you want to talk about the flawed candidate Trump is, or no?
Yeah, okay, but let's talk about authenticity first.
Okay.
Kamala Harris. So I understand that there's this term code switching. It applies when you're applying to jobs or talking to your friends, right? You don't talk to me like you talk to some of your other friends. I understand it. But when you're a politician, Kamala Harris, like Hillary Clinton, sometimes takes it a little too far. When she talks to a specific public, she seems to change her persona entirely.
Yeah.
When it comes to Donald Trump, he's pretty authentic. And when he wants your vote, he makes it very clear. He just goes like, hey, I love my African American over there. Hey, I love the Latinos. And the American population kind of likes that, I believe. Kamala Harris.
You think we like it when he calls us the blacks?
I don't think so, maybe.
Exactly, we don't like it. You know good and damn well.
But what I'm trying to say,
would you like it if he called you that?
Authentic. At least he's authentic.
But you say that to you that's authentic. You're talking personality, dear brother.
What would you say if I went on your show and when I go on your show, I start talking in a different tone and I don't know, I'm like, what's up, bro? And then when I go in another tone, I talk in a completely different tone. You would say, oh, this guy is like morphing into a different persona. And I don't like this. It's not authentic. That's what Kamala Harris has done her entire career.
All right, Juan, what the hell are you talking about?
I'm talking about the truth. Kamala Harris will accentuate parts of her personality.
We all do that, dear brother, with black folk. We know how to talk to you. We know how to talk to the supervisor. We understand how to talk to our community. It's called the vernacular bias understanding. And so when you dig into the psychology of it, many times it's connected to the association of socialization, meaning you understand the culture in a way that others may not. You, because you're external of the culture, may not get that. And definitely white men typically do not get that because they have been the dominant culture and never needed the code switch. Code switch was required in order to communicate among different variables of the construct of power. Do you understand the difference?
Yeah, I understand the difference.
Okay.
I'm Hispanic, which is not the same, but I spent large part of my life in another country. And I understand you talk in different ways to different people. But as a politician, I think it's a little different. We're not talking about like code switching with your friend.
Right.
Or code switching, you're applying to a job or talking to a professor. We're talking about code switching.
Well, I got you, Juan. You're talking about tonality.
He's a different person, man. I see her speak. When she was in Atlanta, a different human being. I don't see that Kamala Harris almost every day.
Well, for someone like me, I'm a little more substantive than you are. I'm looking at is the person double talking? Are they saying one thing and then another? These are the things I look for in politicians. Now, all of them are politicians. All of them do a level of double talking. All of them say one thing.
Kamala Harris's double talking is a little insane. Now she's law and order Kamala. But she was all for defunding the police, and so were you. And now,
wait a minute, dear brother. I'm
forget
still
about
for
that.
I'm
Kamala
still
Harris,
for.
put them back in prison.
Juan,
yeah,
let's come back to me since you mentioned me. I'm still for defunding the police. Matter of fact, I've successfully been able to do it, but not to the tune. Not to the tune. Give me a moment, dear brother. I'll respond to you. Not to the tune that police defund the police, because police defund the police at a rate that's astronomical compared to what any Black Lives Matter activist or commentator has ever done. But let's go back to Harris. Defunding the police means what? It means reprioritizing the police budget to go to preventative work and preventative care inside of the community. What is the difference, brother, between public safety and policing? Do you know?
No, but first answer my question. Is she in favor of defunding the police now, or is she miss law and order?
I want you to understand my answer because of your framing. Defunding the police was a campaign to make people pay attention. Mm-hmm. The issue that people care about in their communities is this. Are you effectively providing public safety or policing? Do you know the difference between the two?
Yeah, I understand.
What's the difference?
Public safety is not just policing. There's more things to it, of course.
There you go. Now, that was the idea of the defund the police movement. It was to reprioritize the policing budget so that you don't simply hire individuals who are reactionary to crime, but you invest money. Give me a moment, Juan. Give me a moment. By investing into operations that can prevent the crime from happening, such as youth alternative programs, which are 22% effective, according to FBI.gov, more so than the reactionary program of hiring a cop. Anytime you hire a new cop, you at best only bring down crime by 0.001%, less than 1%. That's why no one has ever been able to arrest themselves out of social economic dysfunction. Chicago got more cops, New York got more cops, LA got more cops. Every single city has still increased in their violent criminal violent criminal stats. So how do you arrest yourself out of the socioeconomic situation? You don't. You address the socioeconomic situation.
Mm-hmm. Look, that's very nice for you to say, and I understand.
But that's correct. That's how it works. You know good damn well I'm right.
Yeah. Okay, Dr. Richie. Like, I understand that there's always other things to consider, but I'll posit this equation to your viewers.
Okay.
If you slash police funds and you have less police funding, less police on the street, what does that translate into in the short term? You can talk to me about rethinking and socioeconomic structures and putting some money here and eradicating homelessness, and all those things are true. But in practice, what happens when you just slash police funding without doing all these other magnificent, huge programs is the crime increases.
That's a lot. So let me go to give you facts.
Going
to give you a fact.
And that's why Kamala Harris and the rest of the Democratic Party stopped talking about defunding.
Can I give you one? Okay, that's fine.
I'll give you some guys. Facts, it wasn't popular with the people.
Yeah, some people didn't like that. I mean, I got a lot of progressives didn't like that, but that's a disagreement and articulable argument. That's fine. But let's go back to the reality of what you just said. What you just said is a bold-faced lie. I want to take you to a place called Ithaca, New York. Ithaca, New York decided to do an analysis of 2 years of their previous 911 calls. They found that 49% of their 911 calls did not require a police at all, but rather a social worker. And so what they did is they started hiring a social worker for every cop or 2 cops that were dismissed or fired from the department. And so that social worker now is able to answer the call, deputized under their police division. Well, guess what happened? Now most of their calls are congruent to the services needed for that community, and they have the staff to do it. My point is, you don't do it the same way for every city. You do it based on the data that your city gives you and says, this is based on you. That's how you do it, dear brothers. And so they decided to deprioritize the money to people who got guns and gave it to folk who had a social license, and they work in harmony. And it did bring crime down in that region, just like it did in the city of Atlanta when they enacted a similar program for individuals who are living and trespassing on property, but not harming anybody.
Crime keeps rising, and
you're incorrect. You're a talking point. That's what Sean Hannity tell you to say. Come on, man. Give me some facts.
Look, I'm all for social workers.
Give me some facts, Juan. Give me one fact. Juan, you got one fact. Can you give me one?
Cool. But when a man points at you with a gun, you don't need a social worker.
Well, that's correct. You need a police officer.
You don't need a social worker.
You need a police officer to deal with the investigation of that after the fact. But a police officer cannot stop that gun from being pointed at you, brother. Tell me. Tell me how.
I didn't hear your question. I'm sorry.
Tell me how. Cops are reactionary agents. Their DNA, they're designed not to prevent crime. They're designed to respond to it. So if you're talking about prevention of crime, why the hell are you hiring cops? They're not there to prevent crime. They're not trained to prevent crime. They are trained to respond to it. Okay, so if you want to prevent crime, dear brother, you're talking about the wrong apparatus.
By definition, they're reactionary. They react to threats and they try to calm down the situation. Agents, we need more cops, better trained cops, for sure.
Or you need holistic public
make our communities safer. It's just like
do you agree? I'm getting the rap. Come on, man, agree with me. You need comprehensive public safety, right, Juan?
Yes, I think that if we could abolish poverty and reshape our culture. And
you need to try because those are your contributing factors to crime. So you damn sure need to try. I appreciate you being on the show. Thank you, dear brother.
Thank you for having me.